How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with a little bit of Homebrew Wednesday. What do we have? A little bit of Gilded Skull again. Neil from Gilded Skull was kind enough not just send me off another beer, but send me off another piece of glass. So there you go. You can read about Neil's journey and the brewery he's trying to open down below. I'll put all that stuff in there. And what did he send me? He sent me session beer. I love it when he sends me session beer because this is a 15% rye whiskey barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout that is already aged. That screams session beer to me. So let's dive into this. Grab my little tapper here. Give this a pop. Yeah, this will be the third Homebrew Wednesday from Gilded Skull. No one's sending me homebrew. So I'll put them up on Wednesdays when I have them. If people send them to me, they'll get done. That's how it works. So yeah, you can see how I know this is legitimately aged is you're not going to hear. There we go. You might be able to see it on camera. Probably better off if I put a piece of paper in front of it, probably. But you can see there's like a murk ring right there, just from sitting and waiting, ready to be drank. That's how you know it's a good one. So label-wise, absolutely fantastic. I love me some ghetto labels. And as far as the beer goes, that'd be stout, my friends. I mean, rich mocha-colored head, super motor oil level body. So yeah, big boy status. See if we get a nose. Yeah, it's definitely spirit forward. Neil kind of tipped me off to that. The whiskey, it's coming off more whiskey than bourbon, but it doesn't come off super spicy like a rye whiskey to me. Maybe like Canadian whiskey. I don't know. Maybe that is just something in my brain is kind of making me think that. So yeah, it's more of kind of like a Canadian whiskey kind of vibe to me. There's definitely roasted malts. You'd expect that. A bit of bittering from those roasted malts, a bit of bittering from the hops. It's a Russian Imperial Stout. Sure, she has time on it. Not quite sure how long. But they're still present. They're still kind of at a pretty high volume. Now, Neil also did comment saying this was brewed to be aged, so I assume it was a little bit more aggressive, both from the spirit end and from the bittering end, whether it be from roasted malts or hops and stuff like that, to kind of hold up the time. Yeah, big, rich whiskey vibes, soft, marshmallowy, vanilla, coconut stuff I believe you're getting from the barrel. Rich, kind of syrupy chocolatiness to it. And again, that bittering kind of bouncing all that off. Smells pretty damn good. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, it's aggressive. That's an aggressive beer. Yeah, it's very aggressive. It starts off and you think you're going to get a huge dose of sweetness that ends very quickly, and you get a lot of bittering, you get a lot of bitterness, and it's very drying. So you have those oak tannins at play. That's kind of driving that dryness that kind of accentuates the bitterness. I believe you're getting a bitterness from roasted malts, definitely from hops, and I believe that rye barrels or the rye spiciness from that whiskey is kind of playing a part there. It still doesn't come off super rye barrel to me, to be honest with you, more just like a Canadian whiskey, but you can tell it's in there. There's multiple levels of spicy bitteriness in there. That's kind of what makes this beer aggressive. Sure, it's a big beer. It's 15%. When you take a swallow, you get a little tinge of heat, but it's not overly hot. That's not the aggressive part of the beer. The aggressive part is the drying and the bittering and the way they work in combination. It's a nice mouthfeel. It's not like overly thick or anything like that, but it's quite nice. Yeah, it's an aggressive beer. Aggressive. I would like to see this actually with a little bit more time on it. I'm not sure how long this has. I might have said that about his other one too, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't remember. But yeah, there seems to be a valley in this that there's something missing for me. The bittering is over here. And that sweetness, like I said, is quick and upfront, but it dissipates really quickly, and they taste like separate components in the beer. I want them to kind of meld together and be a little bit more rounded, a little bit more like one kind of whole, as opposed to two individual parts, and I think time would actually help that. Like I said, I'm not sure how much time this has on it, but it's a fun beer. It's probably one of the more, fun, aggressive beers. And it's kind of weird to say that because a lot of times when you talk about aggressiveness, it's a negative thing when it comes to beer because it's either like too much of one or too much of the other. It's cool the way the flavors come off and how they play. But that's also a little bit the reason why I want it to have a little bit of age, so it's kind of fighting myself on that. But I like the dryness, bittering kind of back and forth. If it was a little bit sweeter, or if time kind of brings down that aggressiveness of that dryness and bitterness and kind of elevates a little bit of sweetness, I think it kind of gets a little bit more cohesive and becomes a better beer for me. So yeah, nice, tasty. I'm trying to think about it. Based off of the other one, I think I like the other one. The other one he sent me is I'm a bit more of a fan of, and I believe that was just a bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. Could be wrong. I forget the actual style, but it was definitely a big dark stout with some spirit vibes to it, and it was blended too. This might have actually been up for a little bit of blending. Drive down a little bit of that bitterness, bring a little bit of sweetness up. That would be my kind of personal kind of take on it, which is kind of why I think people send homebrew to people. So yeah, so there you go. No kind of ratings or any of that stuff. I really don't do that with beer reviews, or I should say homebrew reviews. And just say it's tasty. Probably one of the better homebrew stouts, especially on the spirit end of things. But even saying that, knowing that I like the other one a little bit more, it's the second best one I've had in a while. Let's put it that way. And that's pretty much it. So like I said, if you want to check Neil out, you can totally check him and Gilded Skull out by going to the links below. He's a Kickstarter for the brewery he's trying to start. You can follow him in his story and give it a whirl. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little Homebrew Wednesday. Hopefully you guys are out there enjoying a little bit of homebrew. If you want to see me do more homebrew, feel free to shoot me an email, massivebeers@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to oblige and drink your stuff in the air and yammer and say all kinds of crazy shit. And, yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.